Welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Gredick, your host. Delighted to have you with us on this beautiful morning. It's a new week. Anyway, it's a great day. Let's just leave it at that. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors, Tanner Health System, Oak Mountain Academy. And we're honored to have, she's been with us before, and it's a good pleasure to have her back. We're on Facebook Live, FM 106.3 and AM 1330. Karmen Stamps, Executive Director of the Pregnancy Resource Center. Good morning, Karmen.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Let's do a quick little intro.
Okay.
I probably ought to get my glasses, or we might both be in trouble. Karmen's Executive Director. She began her journey at the Pregnancy Resource Center of Carroll, Haralson, and Heard counties in 2005, when she accompanied a friend to the center. 2013, she became a certified crisis pregnancy coach and volunteered as a client advocate. She joined the PRC staff in 2015 as executive assistant and became executive director in December 2016. So Karmen considers it a blessing to be part of the Pregnancy Resource Center family and to offer help and hope to the community. Well, one reason I wanted to bring you in, kind of the big reason, is this is a very significant milestone for the Pregnancy Resource Center. For those of us who have been around a good long time, and I confess to that I remember something called Carol Save a Life, but I understand it's been 35 years.
Yeah.
Tell us about the origin and the work that's been done. 35 years is a long time.
Yeah, it is. Especially for a nonprofit to make that milestone, it's a huge accomplishment. But back in the mid '80s, after the Roe v. Wade decision in '73, that folks around the country were, making it an effort and making it a priority to help ladies that found themselves in crisis pregnancies. And our founder, Debbie Bolser, was in her living room one day listening to a radio show from Focus on the Family. And
I liked her.
Yeah. And they were talking about crisis pregnancy centers around the country. And she just thought right there in her living room that Carrollton needed one of those, and she could be the person that could get that started. And she did. And that was in May of 1986. And here we are 35 years later, standing on her legacy and the foundation that she built.
Carol Save a Life was the name of it. It really does point out what the thoughts of the movement of God through one person, what they can do. Because that's 35 years is really remarkable. It just started in her,
right?
Just an inspiration to her.
Yeah, she's prayed about it, talked it over with her husband, and got a handful of friends that were going to come alongside her and start this effort, and they did it. And as soon as the center began, she kind of stepped away. She had done what God had told her to do, and she was ready to pass the baton on to someone else to continue it. And she's still a supporter of PRC. She lives up in North Carolina, but she always checks in, and she sends us sweet little notes, and we're communicating constantly back and forth. So she's such an inspiration and encouragement to all of us.
Looking back on 35 years, I know with many organizations, particularly a nonprofit, I was wondering if you share the same thought. You think about all the people that contributed. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of people, which either volunteered their time or donated or whatever. Do you ever reflect on the many people that went before you?
Sure, absolutely. Sitting at my desk, every day and thinking, well, I get to be a part of this movement, and that there's so many people that have gone before me, so many executive directors, and staff people, volunteers, donors, and often I think, what would our community be like if Carol Save a Life Pregnancy Resource Center hasn't been around for 35 years?
Well, unlike any other nonprofit, you can say how many babies have been saved, I suppose, very directly. I mean, lives are changed with other nonprofits and lives are saved, but that's the business y'all are in, quote unquote.
That's right. And I mean, over the 35 years, we've helped over, 27,000 families to make a decision for life or to just even get the support and resources that they need to have a healthy pregnancy and feel like they can do it.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Roe v. Wade, and I know in those early days there was the issue was, well, what are you going to do for the woman? How are you going to support the mother? And that really dovetails into the mission of Pregnancy Resource Center. Kind of elaborate on that if you would.
Well, our mission is to provide compassionate medical services, evidence-based resources, and education that encourages healthy life skills. And from those three components of our mission, all of our programs center around those things. So we have, and I may be jumping ahead, but we have all of our programs, like I said, either provide medical services, we give out resources and education that's going to help them make the best decision for their pregnancy. And then we have other education programs like our parenting classes that's going to equip moms and dads to be successful parents.
Yeah, we're going to jump in with more detail for each of those programs, but before we take our first break, let's go back to my intro.
Okay.
You became a coach and volunteer back in 2013, so now you're approaching 7 or 8 years with a relationship with the Pregnancy Resource Center. What first inspired you or motivated you to really take on that role?
Well, in 2005, when I accompanied a friend, and she walked in, she was very confused, didn't really know what she wanted to do. And when she walked out after meeting with the wonderful people at PRC, she felt more confident in continuing with her pregnancy and raising her child. And that really made an impression with me. And then in 2013, it was the 40th anniversary of Roe v. Wade. And I stood in front of my church and I said, this shouldn't be happening on our watch, on my watch. And if there's anything I can do about it, and God opens that door, I'm going to run right through it. And a few months later, a volunteer opportunity came available, and I filled out the paperwork and got going. But I feel like I can do a little bit, that analogy about all the starfish on the beach that had washed up, and the person was out there and just throwing one back at a time. And somebody came up and said, you can't help all of these. And she said, no, but I can help one. And so I try and keep that in mind every day.
Our guest this morning is Karmen Stamps, Executive Director of the Pregnancy Resource Center here in Carrollton. And we'll be back with more with Karmen after this word.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
As a graduate of Oak Mountain Academy, I've found that my experience on the mountain prepared me beyond all expectations. As a junior at Auburn University, I approached my studies with great confidence thanks to what I learned at OMA. When I think back on my time on the mountain, I think of my teachers. Their genuine love and concern for me as a student was always evident, and now, as an adult, I still foster those relationships. I'm Carly Robinson, an Oak Mountain Academy alum. Visit oakmountain.us to see how you can offer your child an amazing opportunity to be a warrior.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Graddick, your host, and we have in the studio Karmen Stamps, Executive Director of Pregnancy Resource Center. We're also on Facebook Live, so if you have any comments or questions, post them there. And we're talking about celebrating, if you will, the 35th anniversary of the PRC. Now you serve Haralson, Carroll, Heard.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right.
3 counties.
That's
right.
That's
pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But you don't do it alone.
No. There's no way.
Tell us something about the staff, the volunteers that you have that work with you there.
Well, we have a wonderful staff of 9 right now.
Whoa, that's pretty big.
Yeah. We have 4 nurses that work. There's 2 there at a time every day that we're open. We have a staff, our client services staff that meets with our patients. We have 2 of those ladies in the client services department. We have a marketing outreach coordinator, a director of development, and then myself.
Who's the medical director?
Allison Key.
Okay. All right. Allison Key, Spa 316,
Yes.
Health 316.
Mm-hmm.
How long has she been medical director?
Oh, goodness. A year and a half, maybe?
Yeah. And before that was Dr. Parrish?
Dr. William Parrish.
Before that?
Dr. Eric Hine.
I won't ask you before that.
Well, Dr. Hine was the first. He was our first
really?
medical director. Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yep.
Well, that's cool. Tell us. Let's jump in then. Let's talk about the pregnancy testing first, and then we'll kind of move to ultrasounds.
Okay.
Tell us what's available.
Well, our pregnancy testing is part of our medical services, and those are medical grade pregnancy tests, and our nurses administer those. It's a urine-based pregnancy test, similar to what your home pregnancy test, but it is medical grade, and so our results may be a little more accurate. That leads into our limited ultrasound is another one of our medical services, and we have 2 nurses trained to perform those, and they look for 3 things. They're diagnostic in nature, but they look for a viable pregnancy in the womb, the baby's heartbeat or heart rate, and then they measure the baby to get an approximate date of birth, how far along the pregnancy is. And our nurses also do prenatal teaching, so helping our patients to understand what it takes to have a healthy pregnancy. And then we give out a 6-month supply of prenatal vitamins to every lady with a positive pregnancy test.
Okay. Now, are there costs to the
No
women?
cost. Everything is free of charge.
Everything's free of charge. Now, on the ultrasounds, these are, like you say, limited ultrasounds, so there's not this super 3D color.
No, they're not, and our nurses aren't trained to give you the gender of the baby. We're really just looking for those 3 things, and those are things that we can find early on in a pregnancy. From 8 to 12 weeks is the good window that our nurses do those ultrasounds.
How many ultrasound machines do you have?
We have 1.
Okay.
We have 2. We have 3.
3. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I had to think.
Okay, good. But now you've also, we mentioned Harrelson and Hurd, but you've got a satellite facility.
We do have a satellite facility up in Tallapoosa,
right,
at the Community Christian Council Medical Clinic. We have not opened that back up yet due to COVID, but we hope to do that in the near future.
All right. Tell us a little bit. I mean, the ultrasounds are probably one of the most dramatic things in the recent times. We're talking about 35-year anniversary. I'm not even sure ultrasounds were being done like this 35 years ago.
They weren't, I don't think.
Not to this degree, certainly, and not to this elaborate or this advanced technology. So what does that mean for the mother when she sees the baby, and for possibly the father too?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bonding experience for both of them. Something that's kind of an abstract idea, oh, I'm pregnant, becomes a real life thing when you can see the baby on the screen.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of life-altering experience in that ultrasound room.
I kind of slipped it in, but tell us about the guys. Tell us about the men. Most of them are not there, I suppose, but tell us about those stories and that kind of relationship to the father.
Well, the father is a vital part of this journey, the pregnancy journey. He is not just a secondary player or second string. He's right there in the thick of it. And, with his support and his encouragement to the mom, she feels like she can do anything. And so having that father come alongside her is so important. And to see him in the ultrasound and his countenance changes when that baby pops up on the screen, it really is a special moment to see him, see his child and really change his mind sometimes.
Yeah, maybe up to that point he's been told or he's believed it's nothing but a blob of tissue.
That's right.
So, or, a product of conception.
And I just want to put in that we're not here to coerce anyone into keeping their baby, but we do want our folks to know every bit of information that we can give them. And the ultrasound is part of that education piece that, oh, this baby does have a heartbeat at 8 weeks. This baby does have fingers and toes and arm buds and is wiggling around. And even though the mom can't feel anything at this point, that there is a baby growing inside her. And that's part of just being open and honest with her, that this is the reality here. And we want you to know that before you make a decision, whatever you decide.
And so as the mother and hopefully the father too realize that it's a new life in the womb, then they oh my word, what is before us? You talked about the journey, but then y'all are prepped with pregnancy coaching, parenting classes, goods, etc. Tell us about all those things you're prepped to help the parent help the parents to go forward.
Okay. Well, I'll start with our pregnancy coaching. That's done through our client advocate program. It's volunteer based. All of our staff is also trained in pregnancy coaching. But what that is just sitting down one-on-one with the mother primarily. We do have a male mentor that comes in and speaks with our fathers. But with the mother and just laying out everything, having her tell us what's going on in your life that you feel like a pregnancy is going to interrupt, that a pregnancy is going to, that you're not going to be able to continue on fulfilling your dreams or going to school or whatever your life looks like now. How do you think it's going to change? And we try and help her to see a different way, that a baby may postpone her plans, but it's not going to totally derail them. And so that's what pregnancy coaching is. And
when you're doing that coaching, I assume that fear and anxiety it can be overwhelming to these ladies.
Sure.
Correct?
Yeah. And if I'm speaking one-on-one with a young lady, I want her to understand that I'm there for her, that I care about her. I care about her thoughts. I do care about those fears and anxieties, but she can slow down. She can make an informed decision, and we're going to be beside her every step of the way. Whether that's through our parenting classes, which is an Earn While You Learn program, and I can lead right into that. Our parenting classes are equipping our parents, helping them to understand what it's going to be like when they bring their baby home. What's my pregnancy going to be like? How can I help my child to thrive in my home? And what does all that look like? They earn baby bucks, and then we have a baby boutique. They can do their shopping in and buy all that they need for their baby clothes, diapers, wipes, all of that.
And there's a lot of that.
There is. Yeah. We really like our baby boutique, and it's, when you're having a stressful day, you can just go and stand in there. Well,
again, that's one less thing that they have to worry so much about.
That's right.
I mean, because this, unplanned pregnancy, and like you say, life can be turned upside down as a result.
Well, and a financial component of a pregnancy is sometimes the stressor.
Sure.
And so when we can take that off the table for them, and they have the time to come in, it's a free class. We have a Parenting Plus mentor that sits with them during their classes and answers any questions that they may have. She walks through their pregnancy with them and through that journey of going through our parenting classes.
Our guest this morning is Karmen Stamps. She's Executive Director of the Pregnancy Resource Center serving Carroll, Haralson, and Heard counties. And it's the 35th anniversary of the PRC, and we'll be back with more after this.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
At Oak Mountain Academy, our daily schedule includes convocation, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance. By doing so, we build a family-like community where all students grow and flourish and personal faith is encouraged. Through community service and a historical approach to biblical study, our students are taught the value of the warrior way, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Oak Mountain Academy. We are a family creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
Good morning. Welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Graddick, your host, and we thank you for listening or watching this morning. And we got Karmen Stamps with us. She looks good on Facebook Live, and I'm hiding behind the monitor. So that's probably the best of all worlds. Anyway, we're celebrating the 35th year anniversary of the Pregnancy Resource Center in Carroll County. Started out at Carroll Save a Life, and for you seniors like me, oh boy, you remember when it was called Carroll Save a Life when it first started up. So, but this is truly a ministry, is it not?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the ministry perspective and aspect of this.
Well, we're a ministry in that we come alongside those that come through our doors and just love on them and support them in any way that we can. We do speak to them about who they are and who they were created to be, that God is their creator. And we have those conversations with them if they're open to it. Of course, we don't force that on them, but we do want them to experience love and grace and no judgment when they come through our doors. And that's the ministry aspect, and every staff member, every volunteer, every board member understands that that's what we're here for.
Yeah, God created them and God loves them.
That's right.
There you go. But now you also do something that's maybe a little bit surprising. You do post-abortion support. Tell us about that.
We have that as an arm of our ministry, in that we have young ladies that come through, and after given all the information, they do decide to abort their child, to terminate their pregnancy. And so we have that as a wraparound. Okay, we understand that one day you may need some more help in the aftermath of that decision, and that's what our post-abortion support does. Comes alongside those girls in the midst of grief and all those emotions that can follow having an abortion. And so that's led by our client services director, Debbie Daniel, and she is post-abortive herself and shares her testimony, walks alongside these women that come through. And that's open for anybody in the community, whether they've been a patient at PRC or not. She just started an 11-week program this past week, and she offers those periodically throughout the year.
And you've got a class starting up, I understand.
We did. She just started it this past Thursday. And that is, like I said, that's open to anyone in the community. And it may not be too late to join, but like I said, she is always open to having those done throughout the year.
It's been a long time since Roe v. Wade, 1973. So, golly, but they say that we've had 60 plus million abortions, and that's a conservative number during that time period. And then you hear stats about how, a large percentage in the church has had abortions, large percentage of the population has had abortions. The higher percentage of African American women in Georgia and across the country that have had it relative to the population. So a post-abortion support group is actually more encompassing, more widespread in terms of who you can serve.
That's right.
And then I guess people would think.
Well, the statistics are 1 in 4 women have experienced an abortion. So that's 25% across the board. And of those 25%, 7 out of 10 of them are sitting in churches. They're involved in a church. They were involved in a church when they had their abortion. So the church is not immune. I'd like to speak to pastors and ministers out there. Don't think that your church is not. There's not ladies in your church that aren't feeling the effects of an abortion from their past. And like I said, we can help. We can help in that.
Tell us about what your the Pregnancy Resources needs are at the time. Volunteers, donations, et cetera, et cetera.
We have a big need for volunteers that want to be client advocates. We have multiple volunteer opportunities, but our biggest need is client advocates. And what is involved in that is coming to the center on a weekly basis and meeting with our patients one-on-one and just coaching them through their pregnancy options. We have material goods that we need help with. A lot of disposable things that we have to go through every day. That stuff. Copy paper, toilet paper, paper towels,
Sure.
All those things that we go through. Our community has been very generous in that we have an overstock of diapers and wipes that we have to funnel back through into the community. So we're good on those. The baby goods, okay. We're good on that. And we run off of donations from the private sector. So anyone who wants to monetarily support us, we're always appreciative of that.
Now, y'all are open, about 3 or 4 days a week?
We're open Monday through Thursday. The hours vary from day to day, but, average 10 to 4.
And it's best to call and make an appointment?
It is. We also have where you can make an appointment on our website at pregnancy.rc.com. And then we have a text option where you can text to make an appointment. And I do not know that number off the top of my head, but it is on our website.
Okay. And the website again?
pregnancy.rc.com.
Do you have a stat as far as how many women you serve or how many babies you save per year? Or?
I'm trying to think. 2020 was a wonky year, of course.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm tired of saying that.
It was a bad question.
I think in 2019, we helped save around 200 babies that year. And we have the capacity to serve, with all of our appointments throughout the year, about 2,000 families. We have 2,000 appointments available.
Wow, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. So you're busy.
We are busy.
And we want to, of course, thank the board of directors and all those who support and all those who do so in prayer.
Well, we couldn't do what we do without our supporters, all of our partners, whether that's financially or in a human resource. They donate their time, so we are so very appreciative.
And if you don't have any dollars to give, you can pray for the Pregnancy
Absolutely.
Resource Center. So our thanks this morning to Karmen Stamps, Executive Director of Pregnancy Resource Center. We give God all the glory for 35 years of ministry.
Amen.
And many years to come until we hopefully won't be facing abortion anymore.
That's right.
So thank you for listening to WLBB, Carrollton, Georgia.